And one more quick thing in this show, maybe two more, but I want to talk about the Nancy Pelosi came up with a new spending bill related to coronavirus. And we've already talked about in this show the other spending bills. In fact, we had Congressman Jody Hice on talking about that, about the absurdity of the spending bills, how much we're spending. But Nancy Pelosi and her Dem colleagues have come up with a new $3 trillion with a T, $trillion spending package they're proposing to fight the coronavirus. Now, I think there's a vote in the House. Now, you realize, of course, the Senate is meeting in place. They're in Washington meeting. The House is still dispersed. House members around the country dispersed because Pelosi's claiming it's not safe for them to meet in the House, to hold regular session in the U.S. House, which is absurd. Nancy Pelosi is saying that because she is one of the people, she's not one of the people actually afraid of the virus. She's not one of the actually fearful supporting the shutdown. She's one of the left-wingers trying to instill fear in this country and the destruction of the American economy in this country. That's Nancy Pelosi. That's why she won't bring the House back, because she is succeeding in conveying to people life is scary, it's dangerous to even go out there, don't worry, everyone stay home. She is too dangerous to have the House meet in session, which is absurd. But so new $3 trillion spending package out of the House, going to be voted on Friday in the U.S. House. They vote remotely. But I want to just share, first of all, they make these idiotic names. This one's called the HEROES Act. HEROES Act. I mean, who even cares what it stands for? I don't even want to know. But it's a fourth coronavirus stimulus package, $3 trillion. And among the many things that are in there, which are unrelated to helping America get through the coronavirus crisis. By the way, the best way to get through the crisis is to let people go back to work. Let people go back to work. That's how you get through the crisis. That's how you start to turn the economy around. Stop listening to Fauci and even his round 2 of guidelines with phase 1 followed by phase 1 with the following 3 points. And then within these 3 points, another phase. Let people who are wise and on the ground in each state make policies ignoring what Fauci is trying to do. Listen to a wide array of experts and make policy that makes sense in your state, which in most places is let free people work. Let free people live freely. But in the $3 trillion package, litany of leftist pet projects like student loan bailouts. Yeah, so we're going to, because we have the coronavirus, when the federal government bail out all the students who have loan debt. Another one, huge, and President Trump's already said no to this, but the blue state bailout. We were talking about Los Angeles County shutting down. Los Angeles County obviously drastically reduced tax revenue. Nobody's buying anything. No one's shopping. No one's buying hotel rooms. No one's doing anything. So tax revenue is down. And so these blue counties, blue states, are thinking the federal government is going to bail them out. President Trump has said, not happening. Nancy Pelosi put it in this $3 trillion bill. So she wants relief for the blue states. She also, who are, by the way, as I mentioned on some other recent show, they were already heavily in debt before this non-pandemic, because they spend too much money and they don't ever take fiscal responsibility for the bills they pass. Also has a $25 billion, B as in boy, billion bailout for the Postal Service. And if you can get this, for the members of the U.S. House, her bailout package is everyone gets a new laptop. Laptops made available for House members, paid for by your tax dollars, because they're forced to work remotely because Nancy Pelosi won't let them come back to Washington. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Aid, more relief, more monthly installments of $1,200 relief checks for various people. Again, trying to repeal the SALT thing, tax break for wealthy Americans. Ignores the best idea that's been floated by Steve Moore and others, the payroll tax cut. I mean, it is such an unserious proposal. This is Nancy Pelosi. It's so unserious. She has to know the Senate's not going to pass it and President Trump is not going to sign it. So you might ask yourself, why would she put forward such an absurdly ridiculous $3 trillion bill Why would she do it when she knows it can't go anywhere? And I'll tell you the answer. The answer is because Nancy Pelosi is signaling to the ignorant voters around this country, we have a really big crisis. It's a massive pandemic. Despite the fact there's 98% recovery rate and below 1% lethality rate, beside all that, we have a really big healthcare scare in this country. So you people have to stay home, just like we House members are staying home. And don't you worry while you're staying home with no paycheck and can't pay your rent and can't pay your mortgage and can't buy your food. Don't you worry. We, the Moneybags Democrat Party, we're just going to send you free money. We're just going to send you more money. Don't worry. Stop listening to President Trump, who's talking about going back to work and talking about reopening America. This is what Nancy Pelosi is saying to the American voters with this $3 trillion package. She's saying, don't listen to Trump. He's talking about reopening. We don't have to reopen. We're not going to do that. We're going to take it very, very slowly. And don't worry, you can just tread water not working and wait for another check from Washington. We, the Democrats, will make sure you get it. This is Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi simply helping, she thinks helping, the Democrat victory in the fall. She's going to be able to be pointing out, look, we Democrats, we tried to help you. We have the House. We tried helping. We tried sending money. We tried spending $3 trillion. But, you know, the mean Republicans wouldn't let us. The Senate blocked us and the president blocked us. I mean, Mitch McConnell, who is a sometimes reliable Republican Senate Majority Leader, at least said, what you've seen in the House from Nancy Pelosi is not something designed to deal with reality, but designed to deal with aspirations. This is not a time for aspirational legislation. This is a time for practical response to the coronavirus pandemic. But people, I consider it, I mean, the states, the blue states staying locked down, blue states staying locked down far more than red states, big blue counties, California being the big one, Michigan, Maine, but California being the big one, New York being another big one. These blue states are staying shut down, causing financial harm to themselves, to the state and their ability to collect taxes, to the county governments, the city governments, everything shut down, no tax revenue coming in, and they are already telling Washington, you need to bail us out. You got to be sending us money. So, I mean, the whole bill is so impossibly absurd, just so impossibly absurd, and yet you have Nancy Pelosi really talking about the idea. This seems like a reasonable idea. $3 freaking trillion. I don't think so. Okay. I want to tell you, as a kind of before I wrap up for the day, a very, very quick thing I thought was kind of fun, kind of good news, which was there was a special election in California. And this is a 7th congressional district. And this is one where, and I'm sorry, excuse me, in Wisconsin first. In Wisconsin, 7th congressional district. You know, this is Wisconsin, very swing state. A lot of Democrats thinking they're going to take Wisconsin this year in the presidential elections. There was a special election, 7th congressional district. Republican Tom Tiffany beat out the Democrat Zunker. And why I mention that is this was a closely watched district. This is a closely watched race in which people thought maybe, given that what the left has tried to do, the unhappiness they tried to generate against President Trump, really might show up in this special congressional election. You might actually have the anger at Trump show up in these polls and have a Democrat take back a seat from the Republicans. But it didn't happen. The final numbers were very good. 109,000 for the victor, a guy named Tom Tiffany, again, 7th Congressional District, Wisconsin, and Zunker only getting 81,000. Tiffany, the victor, getting 109,000 votes. So very good news that at least this little bit of a bellwether race, Democrats thought they somehow were going to maybe have an indicator that their endless campaign to destroy Trump was working, but actually it did not pan out. The Republican easily won, and there you go.